ErgoPad is at odds with prior statements, correct? Isn't it just skirting fundraising laws? Perhaps I'm missing something. So let me make this clear. I am absolutely not talking about ErgoPad. ErgoPad is doing it right. ErgoPad is doing token raises right. And let me kind of clarify something here. I'm not saying that token raises are inherently evil, that all token raises are inherently evil. Obviously, you need, in some of these ecosystems, you need tokens. You need them. You need to create a market for the tokens. So, if you want to have a sale for the tokens, sometimes some businesses, like for example Zengate, with the Palmyra platform, we're doing an equity raise, and we're also going to be doing a token raise down the line. Now they're not going to be running simultaneously, because at this point we can work with other tokens and other cryptos in the ecosystem for payments. However, we do have plans to eventually have a token for Palmyra, and when those plans mature, we have been talking to Marty and ErgoPad to potentially work with them during the token raise. It all comes down to responsibility. First of all, are you creating a token that has a utility in your ecosystem? Or are you just basically, you could create a token that really does have utility, that does raise, could create a monetary market within your ecosystem. Or it could be just basically using it as an alternate fundraising tool. And again, and the latter is, again, not inherently evil. You could do that the right way. It just all depends on how you do it, and what kind of responsibilities, what kind of precautions you take during the raise, and what really is the raise about. What is this token about? Because the problem is with a lot of projects in the whole blockchain ecosystem is they'll raise a token just to raise money, or they'll mint a token just to raise money, or they'll create a coin just to raise money. Well, more tokens than coins, of course. Coins that take a lot more effort to create separate L1 blockchains, but that's not healthy in my opinion. But when your token really does have utility, it really does have use besides numbers go up, then there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're responsible and as long as you have a well thought out plan of utility. So just wanted to kind of put that in there, and like I said, make it clear that not all tokens are created equal.
It's a good discussion to have. The first thing I can say about ErgoPad is I think they're building things the right way, in terms of, they've been very transparent. They've pushed for open source code, not only for them, but for projects that they sponsor. But then you kind of have to look at it from the other side, right? The, let's say, journey of converting something from an idea to like actual implementation or reality. That is a lot more challenging than most people assume, right? And if you're going to, let's say, participate in bootstrapping a new project or an idea, I have to ask the question: Are you going to engage as kind of like a community member around that project? Are you going to assist in some way? Is this going to be a actual decentralized effort to build something, or is this just going to be you buy a token, you sit back, and then say soon, when is the number going up, right? There's a lot of, the whole point of that is distribution. It's to get community engagement and bootstrap a peer-to-peer idea. And so, like, if you're going to participate in that, participate in it, is my opinion, because you're like an active member of that little sub-community that you're creating. And then there's a lot of people that just look at it from like a purely speculative like space, where they're like, oh, I bought this and I want something to happen, so do something for me, right? Carry your own weight. That's what I would say. Now, in terms of like skirting fundraising laws, that depends on your jurisdiction. One thing that, it's kind of sad is Americans love to think that they are the world, right? Put ourselves in the middle of the map and cut Asia in half. And the reality is, like, blockchains probably offer more value in terms of a technology to underdeveloped areas than they do to, developed economies, because we already have a ton of competing products. We already have a ton of market access. We already have, more than most in the world. Now, if you look at like the ability for somebody that's in a underdeveloped jurisdiction to potentially stake ownership in a business, or have that type of access to international markets, I think that's a great thing. But in my mind, when it comes to that type of bootstrapping, I would recommend you look at the idea behind it. You look at whether the person has had any history in terms of open source development, whether they're transparent. But remember, you're not necessarily an investor in crypto. You are a peer, ideally. And so are you going to carry your own weight as a peer, or are you going to be sitting back doing nothing and complaining? And, I think that's the wrong approach. I think that mindset, is kind of the security mindset, versus if it's more of looking at it as an actual decentralized project or endeavor, then everybody should engage. What do you think, Alex?
Right. So in the first place, I think it's people, right, who doing bad things, not the fundraising tooling. For example, Ethereum ICO was very shady according to modern standards, right? But we have actual products delivered, and I guess, ICO participants are happy, right, with the decision made about participating in the ICO in the past. So in the traditional worlds of VC funding, right, so it's not uncommon to have checks signed just our lunch, right, with very informal commitments if, there is trust, right, to a team, to founders. In regards with ErgoPads, we are talking about statistics, right? So there are certain observations we can make observing a lot of success and failures in the space, right? And we can try to do something, and ErgoPad is actually doing something. So, for example, they are doing vesting, right, for all the projects as well, and that's trendy, right, measure to avoid blatant scams and rug pulls. I mean, it's not working all the times, obviously, but can improve statistics, right? And I think they're trying to do their best, right, to improve statistics. But again, so it's about teams delivering or not, after all, right? So. How much damage they could make in case of non-delivery, and what's the best way to help with deliveries, deliverables. I think ErgoPad is actually doing great, and it's a very modern approach, right? Considering experience we got from the past, from previous years, and this year was very insightful, let's say, but also painful, right, for many investors in the space.
Yep. It has personally as well. But we don't think about things like that because you got to think about the long term. And I am bullish on the long term.